16,000 Krishnas in the same Muhurta married all the 16 damsels. So was it one Krishna? And who is the original Krishna and who is the duplicate Krishna? None of them was able to say and feel. So this is this dimension. Don't consider him as an ordinary man. Shuddhirnrinam natu tathedya durashayanam vidyashrudadhyayana dana tapahkriyabhihi Sattvatmanam rishabhate yashasi pravruddha sachshraddhaya shravana sambhridaya yatha syat. There are a number of verses which the Devas say. I don't think my English viewers will be interested in listening to all of them. So I am not going to explain all of them. So there are many verses, all of them have got very specific meaning. Suppose you are a lover of Bhagavata, a practitioner of devotion, if you are a lover of God. All these verses would have meant greater and greater devotional serenity, sublimation, enrichment, enlightenment and expansion for you. But how do I know whether you are having all this? None of you is writing. So I would like you to respond to me, to write to me, whatever you want to know. I am speaking and you are hearing. This is actually an initiation. You are being initiated into the spiritual, philosophical, devotional life. As a result of that, you should develop greater proximity with the subject and also proximity with the speaker. And whatever questions arise in your mind, doubts or otherwise, you can always place before me. If too many letters come, I will reply. I have replied all the letters. Sometimes it takes time. Nowadays, all the letters have been disposed. I am free to receive a bunch of letters now. So you may write if you like. Shuddhirnrinam natu tathedya durashayanam vidyashrudadhyayana dana tapakkriyabhihi sattvatmanam rishabhate yashasi pravruddha sachshraddhaya shravana sambhridaya yatha syad. I told you that Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara are the trinity that we have. They are imaginary entities. When it comes to Rama and Krishna, they are not imaginary. They were born. Rama was born as the first son of Dasharatha in the Ikshvaku dynasty in the palace of Ayodhya. Krishna was born in Mathura as the nephew of Kamsa, born of Devaki and Vasudeva. So they were human descents, human births. Now these two, they have added a lot of value, a lot of resources to our religion and religious practices. Ever since Krishna was born and his personality was rightly assessed, evaluated by the sagely poets, they immediately start writing on him. And that is how we have got the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatakyoyam pratyaksha Krishna evahi Svigritosi mayanatha muktyartham bhavasagare. The entire Srimad Bhagavata is considered to be Krishna personified, Pratyaksha Krishna. So the Srimad Bhagavata itself is a full description of Krishna, his personality, his glory, his excellences, his achievements and what all he is in reality. So that people will have an insight into the spiritual, philosophical dimensions of human life. Krishna evidences, illustrates it at every point of time. Oh, my dear worshipable Lord, Durashayanam, people of impure mind, Shuddhi Nrinam Nadu. For the impure-minded people, purity will not be had by what? Vidya, Shrudha, Dhyayana, Dana, Tapah, Kriyabhihi. 6 items they have mentioned. These are all adored practices which are resorted to and pursued by people as a part of their religious, devotional and ceremonial life. Vidya, reading of good things, spiritual scriptures including Vedadhyayana. Shruta, becoming widely learned, well learned. Adhyayana, religious learning of the scriptures by repeatedly chanting and hearing from a guru. Dana, gifting of whatever you have for people who are not related to you through blood or matrimony. Tapaha, various forms of austerity and vrata. Kriyabhihi, ceremonial and ritualistic practices. By all these processes, what are they? Vidya, Shruta, Adhyayana, Dana, Tapaha, Kriyabhi. By this sixfold practice, the people of impure mind will not be able to acquire the necessary degree of purity. Why? Then what is the right means? He says, Sattvatmanam Rishabhate Yashasi Pravruddha Satshraddhaya Shravana Sambhridaya Yathasyat. Think of the simple and humble innocent devotees who go on listening to Tattva Kathana or Ishvara Katha, one or the other. So the Srimad Bhagavata reading itself has become famous, and it has become a very, very consistent practice, cultural practice in our country. Why? It's after all in Sanskrit, and it is being read and explained by so many people. Saptaha of Srimad Bhagavata is very famous. As I am talking to you now, in Kerala and in the whole country you will find hundreds and hundreds of Saptahams are being held. So famous is this. Sattva Atmanam Rishabhate Yashasi Pravruddha Sashraddhaya. Srimad Bhagavata extols Krishna at every point of time. Now, listening to Srimad Bhagavata and the manner in which it describes Krishna, people start weeping. There is ecstasy generated, thrills, horripilation, choking of throat. Some people sing, some people dance, some people yell forth. So many different expressions are there. When devotion is creeping into your mind and it starts growing in abundant proportion, all these are the natural, irresistible symptoms in your system. This will also automatically happen. And gradually they develop a lot of such Shraddha. Srimad Bhagavatam is not merely a narration of history. It is not history at all. It has created devotional history in our land. After reading and listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, many people become sannyasins. Many people embrace that wonderful fourth ashrama, the fourth stage of life. Some in white clothes, some in ochre robe, some in different ways. It's going on like this, going on like this. So it is creating history. It is not a mere historic narration. Maybe history refers to the instances of the past. Many people read it and forget it. The general complaint is that we don't pay heed to history because history repeats itself, they say, but nobody values it. Here it is not like that. This is a narration, an epic narration, a Paramahamsic narration, which is supposed to generate newer and newer generations of devotees, people with devotional, spiritual, philosophical and yogic excellences. Shravana Sambhridaya Yatha Syat. People who are given to faithful listening, faithful hearing of the scriptural narration of Srimad Bhagavatam and such other texts. How well they will be purified in their mind. In that manner, all these sixfold practices will not be able to do. What a great statement is this. You know, when you listen to Srimad Bhagavata, this is our inner spiritual splendor. I have been talking to you for quite some time. By listening to this, what happens? My words, all of them glowing with their spiritual, philosophical, religious, devotional and yogic splendor. Your ears hear them, and thereafter every word creeps in, enters into your brain, into your mento-intellectual system. An idea is implanted there, one after the other, one after the other. It is like drops of milk poured into water. You will find very soon the water changes the color. It starts looking like milk. Here also the material mind is being transformed into a spiritual, resplendent one. This is what takes place. Whereas these rituals and ceremonies, the focus is on performance external. There it is an expression. I bring so many materials, I chant so many mantras, so many priests assist me and guide me, and everything is offered there. Here while listening, everything is absorbed inwardly, into the inside. See the difference between the two. One is an expression, another is an absorption. One is an outward projection, another is an inner assimilation. enrichment. Shuddhirnrinam natu tathedya durashayanam vidyashrutadhyayana dhanatapah kriyabhihi satvatmanam rishabhate yashasi pravruddha sachraddhaya shravana sambrutaya yathasyad. Rama is told by Vasishtha, Yasnata Shita Sidaya Sadhu Sangama Gangaya Kim Tasya Danaihi Kim Tirthaihi Kim Tabobhihi Kim Advaraihi. You know, I read this verse many years back. Ever since I read it, the message was completely in me. It was not separated at all. It cannot be separated. Irresistibly, it got assimilated into my system. And it meant a lifelong enlightenment. What is it? Yes, nataha, shita sitaya, sadhu sangama gangaya. Whenever a man bathes in the cool waters of the association with a knower of truth, when you go and sit in the presence of a knower of truth, he looks at you, you look at him. It's actually a bath. You are bathing. Here, what is getting bathed? Your mind, your intelligence, your inner personality. You listen to his words, there is a greater effect. Whatever he speaks, you listen to and absorb. And it gets implanted in your inner system. When you take a bath in the Ganges or any other holy river, the body alone gets the touch of water. The water doesn't go in and touch the mind. Yasnataha Shita Sidaya Sadhu Sangama Gangaya. In the holy waters of Ganga, produced by Satsanga. Kim Tasya, for him, of what use is dana? What use is tirtha? What use is austerity? What use is different forms of sacrifices, yagas? So the satsanga, association with the Guru, it was years back, about more than 60 years back, that I happened to meet my Gurudev, who came to my house. When I met him, it was a festivity for my eyes. I prostrated before him. He took my body, embraced me, gave me a kiss on my forehead. What was it? I was surprised. Something and I never got from my parents. They did not have the freedom or the feeling to do it. But here is an old person who takes so much of freedom, just barely seeing me for the first time. What kind of an authority is this? What kind of an endearment is this? And what is working in such a mind within? Ever since then, I was in the beautiful, loving, fond association of my Guru. When this verse says that, for one who has been able to repeatedly bathe in the association of a Sadguru or a Satsanga, for him no ritual is necessary, no holy bath is necessary, no ceremony or anything of the kind is necessary. This itself is the greatest, supra greatest, greater than the greatest. Here is another important pronouncement of our scriptures. Atyandamalino deho dehi cha atyanda nirmalaha ubhayor antaram jnatva kasya shaucham vidhiyate. Atyandamalino deho. We speak of holy bath. Where? By going to the holy rivers and similar spots. Everywhere is water. By bathing the body in water, will the body become pure? No. Atyandamalino deho. The body is constantly impure. Whatever things come out of it, maybe sweat, maybe phlegm, maybe saliva, maybe earwax, urine, fecal matter. Whatever comes out of the body is all foul. These foul things are coming from the body. That means the body is hosting these foul things. Every time, before you pass stool, where was the stool? It is inside. What is inside is coming out. Now this matter is contained and hosted by the large intestines, and the large intestines is connected to the small intestines, and that is connected to the stomach. The stomach is connected to the central part of the body, that is connected to the head, everything. So atyanta malino deho, the body is atyanta malinaha, dehi cha atyanta nirmalaha. On the other hand, the soul, the presence of the soul inside the body, which animates and activates the body, atyanta nirmalaha, that is absolutely pure, holy. It cannot be putrefied, and the body cannot be purified. The body is impure, it cannot be made holy. And the soul is absolutely holy, it cannot be made impure or unholy. Ubhayor antaram jnatva, understanding the difference between the two, tell me, which will you bathe? By bathing the body, is it going to be pure? No. Is it necessary to bathe the soul? No, certainly not. It is redundant. So who requires the bath? The only answer is, by bath, nobody is benefited. It may be a bodily need, it may not be a religious fulfillment. Atyanta malino deho, dehi cha atyanta nirmalaha, ubhayor antaram jnatva kasya shaucham vidhiyade. My dear viewers, are you understanding the message of truth, the message of spiritual values? All these are evolved. I cannot say when they were evolved. And they have been preserved by people like you. People like you. Every generation, people have read them, heard them, and they found immense and wholesome relevance to their mind, relevance to their intelligence, relevance to their day-to-day interaction in life. So they listened to, absorbed, assimilated, and their lives were governed by them. They pursued it, and maybe some of them perfected it. And after perfection they found, this is the message I should deliver to the entire humanity, they decided. That is how they became austere, ascetic people. Why did Vedavyasa become a sage? Why is it that Shugamuni at the age of 16 started wandering to deliver the message of Srimad Bhagavatam wherever it was necessary? It is that Shugamuni that, coming to know that Parikshit was under a vow of lifelong fasting, he decided, I should myself go to Parikshit and I should tell him Srimad Bhagavata, which I have learned from my father. If Shugamuni had not gone there, what would have been the fate of King Parikshit, you tell me? We become sannyasins only because of our super fondness for the society. Super fondness. Our fondness could not be constricted to a family. It could not be tied down within the boundaries of the family wall. We said, no, I have something higher, something greater, something broader, something eternal, which is equally applicable to all people in this world. Here is a bequest, here is a bequest. Here is a patrimony, here is a patrimony. Please come and take as much as you can. And by so giving, we don't lose. Vyaye krite vardhatayeva nityam vidyadhanam sarvadhanat pradhanam. By spending, by exercising, by telling people, we are not losing, we are gaining. Our knowledge gets more and more reinforced, more and more deep, more and more wholesome. So whenever we discuss this subject, don't think that we stand to lose, we stand to gain infinitely. What is the beauty of this message? Atyanta malino deho, dehi chatyanta nirmalaha. On the one hand, our scriptures and traditions say, go to holy places, take bath in the holy waters, live there for some time, perform austerity. This alone will be beneficial to your life. Compared to secular life, interests and pursuits, certainly this is true. But that is not the be-all and end-all of human life, or particularly seeking life. So you have to get enlightened. What is the highest enlightenment? Atyanda malino deho, dehi chatyanda nirmalaha. Extremely impure is the body, and absolutely holy, pure is the soul. So you have to bathe neither. The right understanding is what you have to seek. So stop your ritualistic indulgences, ceremonial pursuits, take to contemplation, sit, meditate, introspect, realize, and be fulfilled. So when they are praising Krishna, saying that Vidyashrudadhyayana danatapakriyabihi nrinam shuddhihi natu durashayanam. For the impure-minded people, all these customary and conventional practices will not be able to bring purity. On the other hand, listening repeatedly to Srimad Bhagavatam, where the glory of God, the glory of the knowers of truth, the glory and excellences of Krishna are repeatedly praised, extolled, and discussed and deliberated upon. Listen to them. You will find a Himalayan benefit accruing to you. See, what a beautiful narration. I wish my viewers appreciate, evaluate, and assimilate these messages. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam shreyah kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pradipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is the first verse in Chaitanya Shishtashtaka. What a wonderful verse is this. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam shreyah kairava chandrika vidaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pradipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. What does it mean? Shri Krishna Sankirtana. Shri Krishna Sankirtana. Sankirtana means what? Loudly, unhinderedly, without any shyness, a lethargy, any reluctance, loudly, wholeheartedly recite the name of the Lord. Hare Rama Govinda Krishna Murare. Hare Rama Govinda Krishna Murare. Hare Rama Govinda Krishna Murare. You should be able to sing like this with a lot of inspiration, a lot of fondness, a lot of reliance, with no curtain or reluctance at all. Shri Krishna Sankirtana. It is marvelous in its effect. Sarvatmasnapanam. It becomes an all-fold, inner as well as outside, full bath ablution. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. You know, these are all beautiful verses. The descriptions, the adjectives, and the other things used here, you know, they represent, they convey an inestimably great, splendorous culture of the land. Cheto darpanamarjanam. Our mind is like a darpana, a mirror. Why? Generally a mirror is kept in the room by the side of a wall. And any mirror is glass, reflecting glass. So that glass you have to keep open. The moment you keep it open, then only you can look at it and see your own face or anything else for that matter. So that mirror is displayed, kept in your room, drawing room or somewhere. And you will find as the mirror just remains there, it does nothing. A lot of dust will be falling on it. And you will have to clean it every time. Even the bathroom, if there is a mirror, near the wash basin you will find, as you are taking bath, the entire glass will be covered by some vapor. So you will have to clean it. So a mirror always acquires dust. In the same manner, the human mind is inside the body apparently. And ever since you wake up, it employs the senses and there is a constant interaction taking place with the objects. The moment you open your eyes, you see something. If there is nothing, you see nothingness also. So eyes are always doing something, see. Like that the other senses also. As a result of which what happens? It starts gathering the imprints of so many objects in this world. All objects are perishable. Perishable objects, when imprinted by the mind has got a perishable effect in it. So, cheto darpanamarjanam. It is just like the glass of the mirror acquiring dust throughout the day. In the same manner, as long as you live, except the hours of sleep, your mind is acquiring a lot of worldly dross, blemish and dust.